Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another review. Yes, this time around I'm going to be doing a review for Pixar's newest movie, Inside Out, and it stars the voice acting talents of Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, Richard Kind, Bill Harder, Louis Black, Mindy Kaling, Caitlin Diaz, Diane Lane, and Kyle MacLachlan. MacLachlan. Lachlan. Um, so yeah, before I begin though, 10-second spoiler warning as usual for those that have yet to actually watch the movie and haven't already. Stop the video, go check it out, and then come back and watch the rest of this review. 10-second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up. So for those that have yet to actually watch the movie and haven't already, please don't comment down below or be messaging me that I never gave you a fair warning, because as usual I did. So yeah, as usual, quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then the rate. So basically, in this movie, you have this girl called Riley. She's from Minnesota, and then one day she has to move all the way to San Diego or Los Angeles. Basically, and then she has her emotions, the five main emotions: happy, sadness, disgust, anger, and fear. And they basically control her life, I guess you could say. It's not exactly like they're control. I mean, basically, it's basically inside her brain, and it shows us how her brain works. How this little girl, she's like 10 or 11 years old, and it shows us how her brain works. One day, sad, or one day, or at this one point, sadness just is well, she's sadness, so she's basically sad. But Sadness wants to be more involved in Riley's life, I guess you could say, because she doesn't feel she's been as involved as some of the other emotions. Again, like joy, fear, anger, and disgust. So she's being a bit more handsy, I guess, with the memories. The memories, they're basically like these orbs, that get downloaded into her brain. However that works out, like they get stored in her brain, like we remember stuff. So yeah, so basically, Sadness, she wants to be more helpful, I guess, and yeah, basically that makes for an interesting adventure when Sadness and Joy both end up getting outside of headquarters because, again, of Sadness, and Joy has to get both herself and Sadness, as well as the core memories, which basically are the main memories that make Riley, that basically the core memories make Riley, makes her what she is. So yeah, and it's honestly a very interesting concept. I want to say, Pixar, they are known for being really imaginative, in my opinion, and I do think that with this movie, they do bring back that imagination aspect of the movie that we really haven't seen much since like Toy Story, Monsters Inc. We really haven't seen this much imagination in a movie since those movies, Monsters Inc., Toy Story, alternate dimensions or other worlds or whatever, or other aspects of normal life. So yeah, I mean, we've seen kind of like historical stuff with Brave. I mean, it's not really historical, but whatever. I mean, Cars and Cars 2, you kind of had that too, but it was an okay attempt. But I think here you bring back the imagination that Pixar has lacked in their past 3 or 4 movies. Namely Cars 2 and Brave, in my opinion. Not to say they're bad movies, but they're not as great as for Pixar standards. So yeah, now I do want to say, everybody was over. I do think this is an extremely overhyped movie. Oh my fucking gosh, really overhyped in my opinion. Because I saw this with a friend, and me and both of us agreed that this is a really overhyped movie. Many people said, it is bringing back what Pixar has lacked in the past, imagination. But we both, like, I feel like it was just really overhyped. Many people said it was like a fantastic movie, one of the best animated movies of all time or whatever. Better than Toy Story, better than Up, and all that type of stuff. And honestly, I don't think it's as good as Up. I don't think it's as good as Toy Story. Hell, I don't even think it's within I don't think it's within the top 10 best Pixar movies. Okay, I do have to say I was disappointed with this film because, and I think again it has to do with the fact that it was just overhyped. Many people were talking about Anger, how he's probably one of the funniest characters in this whole movie, and I will admit he was one of the funniest characters. But many people said he's like one of the best things about this movie. And yes, he was one of the funniest characters, because he's Anger, so he has rage. He rage quits like every other second. But again, him in particular, because he is the one character that many people talk about, I do feel like I was most disappointed with his character. I was expecting a bit more. And at the end of the whole movie as a whole, it was like something left. There's like something left to be desired with the movie, and that's how I kind of felt. Good movie, but there's still something left to be desired in the movie. However, I do have to say this is probably one of the more darker Pixar films, and here's why. Believe it or not, they actually have deaths in this movie. Believe it or not, which I don't think we've seen since Brave. And even after that, I don't think Brave had a death. And there are actually 3 deaths in this movie. You had 2 of them were just like comedic deaths. Yeah, you had her imaginary friend, Riley's imaginary friend, who was like a cotton candy elephant dolphin thing, whatever. Since he's an elephant, he has a trunk, so he blows this one guy, and literally blows this one guy away, because the thing, or the imagination thing, is a cloud, so he blows away one of these cloud people. And then towards the end of the movie, you have Joy running through another one of the cloud people, which is, again, those were the 2 comedic deaths. However, this elephant imaginary thing, Bing Bong, I believe was his name, he dies, and he's one of the more serious, or he is the only serious death. Serious death. And me and my friends thought he was gonna come back at the end of the movie. Surprise! He actually didn't come back at the end of the movie, which that was kind of a small, nice twist. It was a bit predictable at times. So yeah, and I know it sounds like I'm ripping this movie apart, and again, I actually do think it's a pretty good film. The voice acting still is pretty great, and the animation it's a Pixar film. What do you expect? It has fantastic animation. And the topics in this, they do explain a lot of stuff throughout the movie about how the brain works, such as long-term memories, core memories, what makes someone and their personalities, forgotten memories, for example, what happens once you grow up, and your memories, long-term or short-term memories, are subconscious, how do dreams and nightmares work, and I know this isn't scientifically accurate, for God's sakes, but I did like how they kind of had that aspect. I know we all know it's not scientifically accurate, but I did like how they tried to explain it. It was really imaginative, and I really did like it. They even go as far as explaining how depression goes, which I think it's one of the darker things that Pixar has done in a long time, since they almost tried to kill off Buzz and Woody in Toy Story 3. I think this is one of the more darker things they've done. And they basically showed depression, in my opinion, like within like the last 20-30 minutes of the movie, and I really did like it for that. I am a bit disappointed with the film. I do feel that there was something left to be desired. However, it still is a good film. It's the best animated film we've had this year. This year we're gonna have Minions and Home, and The Good Dinosaur, which is another Pixar film, so possibly this is one of the best ones. We just have to see how Pixar does, and Minions, I don't think it's even gonna touch this, and Home fucking sucked. So yeah. My one worry with this, and it's not about the movie, it's just Pixar as a whole, is that this movie looked so great, and then you have The Good Dinosaur, which comes out like in November or September, whatever. September, October, November. It's supposed to come out within like the fall, winter season of movies. And that movie, so far from what I've seen, from the small few trailers we've seen and a few images, that movie doesn't really look good. I feel like that movie's gonna be another Cars 2. So we kind of have like almost like a pretty good movie, and then the next movie is gonna be like a pretty movie. So yeah, overall though, I did enjoy Inside Out. They're really fun. Again, I love Pixar films. They're all great in my opinion. Even many people shit on Cars 2 and even the original Cars. In my opinion, they're still pretty good movies. Compared to other Pixar movies, they're not as good as it could be. However, I still like those movies as well. Cars 2, even Brave. Many people shit on that movie because of its bad plot or whatever, like really flimsy plot, which I have to admit has a really flimsy plot. But I still think it's a pretty enjoyable movie. So yeah, overall though, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I still feel like there's something left to be desired, but again, pretty great voice acting. The animation was fantastic as usual, and I did like how they kind of had these darker themes. My one question though is, how is this movie gonna fit into the whole Pixar theory? If you don't know, basically the Pixar theory is this whole huge conspiracy theory that every single Pixar movie, from Toy Story to Monsters Inc., WALL-E to Ratatouille and Finding Nemo, everything in between with Brave and Cars and Bugs Life and whatever I'm missing out, and to a lesser extent, even the Planes movies, that all this is connected into one cohesive universe. Yes, you have talking dogs with Up, with superpowered humans with Incredibles. How the hell is all of this gonna work out into a Pixar theory? My theory, just to put in my 2 cents, I think the way Inside Out works into the Pixar theory is that it probably takes place within the Incredible time, around the same time as Incredibles, maybe a bit before in the Incredibles section. Well, no, I think yeah, it has to happen. I think after the Incredibles, right there, because the Incredibles deal with superpowered humans, and this has to do again with human anatomy to some extent. So I think it would make sense that it would work out somewhere around the Incredibles timeline. However, I mean, the thing is that the Incredibles took place in the 50s and 60s, or somewhere around there, somewhere between the 50s and 70s. Whereas this one takes place around the 2000s. I don't think it's like 2000. I don't think it's anywhere past like 2008, mostly because the few phones we see in this movie were like Blackberries, at least from what I can tell. So yeah, I mean overall, really, it's a pretty good film in my opinion. I know I went off on a tangent with the Pixar theory, but I still want to see how this kind of fits into the Pixar theory. And then to a lesser extent, at the end of the year, Good Dinosaur. However, I could see Good Dinosaur picks kind of filling up right before Brave, so that one's pretty easy. Overall, pretty good movie. Not what I expected. Was a bit darker than I thought. Still had something left to be. I still feel like there's something left to be desired in the film. And yeah, one more issue I had with the film, it's that they made Sadness at the beginning for like the first half of the movie such an unlikable character. Like she was like just bitching and moaning for like the first half of the movie, and even my friends like, why don't they just push her off to like the dump? And it's like it would make sense. I mean, she is just bitching and moaning. It really wasn't to like the second half of the movie where she actually becomes likable. I mean, I know she's sad and she's moody all the time, but even after that, just because you're sad and moody, I mean, I know that's her primary emotion, but just because she's sad and moody all the time doesn't mean she can't be likable. I mean, you had Anger likable, and he's just pissed off. Disgusting was actually pretty likable too, and then Fear, Fear was also pretty likable, and Joy, she has. It's funny. Sadness isn't likable, which is weird. And also, a small issue I had with the movie is that I found Joy to be kind of a bitch at times as well. So the one character that should be likable sometimes isn't likable. Again, but those two complaints about the characters really didn't really just affected like the first half of the movie. In my opinion, they were just within the first half of the movie. I mean, overall, still a pretty good film. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Again, really good film. I do think it's one of those animated films that adults will also enjoy. Like, kids would be like, ooh, adventure, sadness, and joy are trying to get back into headquarters, yay. But then adults will like it because, it actually has with layers to it. It has, these darker themes, depression, and losing your identity and stuff like that. And you have those deaths, which are, some of them are pretty funny, but one of them is serious. You have like these kind of more mature topics, so I do think adults will also enjoy it. And again, it's Pixar, so if you've seen any other Pixar film, Toy Story, Incredibles, Ratatouille, whatever, WALL-E, you're gonna like it. So yeah, overall though, as I said before, 7 out of 10. That's basically for it. And yeah, I mean, I do think it was overhyped in my opinion. Yeah, lately films have been overhyped in my opinion, like from Jurassic World. Also that was pretty overhyped in my opinion. So yeah, and I feel like Terminator Genesis is also gonna be overhyped. I just feel like that one's overhyped already. yeah, good thing I haven't really seen any trailers past the first one. Apparently everything was spoiled like in trailers 2 through 7, along with like teaser trailers, along with all the 100 teaser trailers with Genesis. Good thing I've only seen the one, and maybe and the Super Bowl one, and I've seen the Super Bowl teaser and the main trailer for Terminator Genesis. So yeah, I'm gonna see that next week. I want to say, yeah, next week, or maybe 2 weeks depending on the day. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. That's basically it for this review. Like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. Subscribe. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, and comic book reviews. Like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. Comment down below on your thoughts on this film, and what do you think is the best Pixar film? For me, it's WALL-E. It's my favorite film. It's my favorite animated film of all time. It's my favorite Pixar film of all time. Man, I know many people are expecting, no, what about Toy Story? For me, actually don't. I like all three Toy Story movies, but I really don't have that much of a connection to them. It's kind of weird. Mostly because I didn't really watch all three Toy Stories in its entirety till like I didn't watch the first two in its entirety till like 2009, and the third one once it came out in like 2011 or 2012. So yeah. Overall though, that's basically it for this video, and yeah, this is Daniel Mart signing off.